Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Just Free coming back at you with another video. Feel free to hit the like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to my channel. So let's get into it. It's been a minute. I was basically working more, and even though I was still, my job allowed me to watch my videos and listen and comment, but by the time I was done, I just didn't really feel like talking. So that's kind of why I fell back on um, posting any content. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. For those who missed me, because I did miss y'all, and for those of you who know that I be up in them comment sections and be talking mad ish, um, it's nice to see, you know, other people in the YouTube streets, and they acknowledge me, I acknowledge them. So shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to all my subscribers. Um and the new subscribers. I've gotten a couple of new subscribers, even though I haven't even been, making any videos probably in over, I don't know, at least 4, 5, 6 months now maybe. It's been a good minute. So anyway, I figured uh so I've been keeping up with this Ernesto Sonya drama, and so I decided to come on and do a reaction. So hopefully, I won't bore you too much and ramble. And hopefully, maybe you're doing some chores around the house, or exercising or driving. Um, so what I'm gonna do is shout out this channel. Um, this is a conversation between Sonya and a YouTuber named V Lenore. She is she's official, apparently. Um, Not a lot of subscribers, but that don't mean nothing. Um, she's got some kind of connection to the entertainment industry. So go to her channel, make sure y'all check her out. She seems like a very lovely lady. At first glance, I thought she looked like Salt from Salt and Pepper. She's very pretty. Um, and she's very professional seeming. Um, and so far, I've listened to 58 minutes of this interview. And if you haven't heard it, just make sure you go check it out. Check out her channel, subscribe, like all that jazz. Get in her comment section. So with that being said, fair use, fair use. I wasn't sure how I was gonna do this. I really was debating on whether or not I was going to play the video or just kind of like edit it to where you just heard me comment. And I'm not gonna start it from the beginning just because it's almost an hour into it, and I just been I just been sitting here talking my shit, and I'm like, yo, you gotta make a video. What is wrong with you? Like, you are going crazy. So, if you don't know, you better ask somebody about this situation, because I am not the one to be going back in time, child, to be catching you up. You better catch yourself up. Or ask somebody in the comments who Sonya is and Ernesto and everybody else, child, because I ain't got the time to be telling you. And with that being said, I want to speak on where I left off at, was where V Lenore was um asking Sonya about her and Ernesto's physical relationship or friendship that quickly turned into a physical situation slash relationship. And what Sonya has said, I mean, there's multiple lies, right? But what where I'm at now is where science talking about the friendship. And I'm just like, friendship, how do you have a friend? First of all, I don't. I think men and women can be friends, right? But my thing is, if you're married, of course, of course, people have a life out before their marriage, right? Okay, cool. But if I'm married to you, like the spouse should know your these friends. and I believe that there are platonic friendships amongst people who are who are married, outside of the marriage, right? um with that being said, here's where the so-called friendship went wrong. She claims that her and Ernesto was just friends. They had this 3 hour long conversation the first day they met. The poor grandbaby was sitting in the car sweating bullets. Um, and allegedly the mother came to pick the baby up, right? And I just kind of made that up. I don't know where the baby was, but she said the baby was with her. Whatever. Anyway, ooh, child. So she claims this was a friendship. However, um, and they only met a couple of times. Okay, and then he was calling her every day. But somewhere between there, it got physical. She didn't ask about whether he was married or not initially, which I'm like, bitch. First of all, she's talking about, oh, he was so old looking. He was so old. Now, all things being all things, Nesto is still a nice looking man. Like, what if you didn't know all that we know? You could consider him, in my opinion, a type of zaddy. You know, as they say on Instagram or whatever, the salt and pepper. You know, distinguished gentleman look, especially when he dressed up and he clean cut and his hair probably dyed and he got a little salt and pepper in there. Um, Nesto is nice looking. So all that, he was old. He was old. Son, shut up. But where the friendship turns flaky for is when a husband and wife are have outside friendships of the opposite gender. You know, I can agree that I don't have a problem with it personally. You know what I'm saying? But where this went wrong is him calling her, him seeming to always call her when he's by himself. Okay, now if the friendship was so innocent, like Miss Thang claims, my man should be able to call me, or I mean, my husband, my significant other, should be able to call that person of the opposite gender in front of me. Okay? And furthermore, so she claims she finds out he's married a couple weeks later. Okay, whatever, fine. Um, I personally would have been like, well, personally, I wouldn't be friends with a married man that I didn't know years prior, that I don't have a history with already. But if this was so innocent, like she claims, and she found out he was married, why wouldn't you I mean, I guess I get it. They weren't living in the same state, whatever, whatever. She claims she moved and then she only saw him 3 times, right? But I call bullshit, Sonya, because if your man or your woman can't talk to the other person in front of you, that cancels everything. Like, no husband or wife that has a friend should only be able to call you when they're not near their significant other. That's just that on that. Um, and that's just my opinion. And I think a lot of women would agree with that. Um, you know, my dad, he had I don't know. I guess you could say female friends. His best friend had 2 sisters. Okay, and they were married. Everybody was married. My dad was married, and my dad was a big numbers guy, lotto, type deal. Sold a little dope on the side, So these 2 women in particular, they the only 2 women that ever called the house, honestly, that I can remember. Um, and they would call and say, "Hey, can I speak to your dad?" And that was never a problem. And I can see my mother right now picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, Cassie on the phone, Freddie on the phone," like so. And then she might walk off and go to the room or to the bathroom or wherever. But it wasn't no secret. It wasn't no. Now, mind you, I don't know what he did outside of the house. That's not, you know, I, whatever. You know what I mean? So, but I say that to say, real friendship would not entail you having to be outside of the home, calling somebody 11 o'clock at night, so on and so forth. But she admitted that she didn't really care. And because Sonya has been through the things that she's been through, I don't think she has the same respect for marriage. And it's evident because, again, like I said, after she found out that he was married, she claims she cut it off, she blocked him, this, that, and third. And then I think that's where I can pick back up. She said she blocked him. She done told so many lies, child. She said she blocked him, and then whatever. Yeah. So she said she blocked him, child. I don't. So let's play a little bit more and see. I'm gonna play this now, and we'll get into it some more.
Because he just fucked you.
No, this was after all of that. Like, we agreed just to be cool, you know. But
Y'all agreed to be cool though after
but I
he
never
fucked you.
asked him like what you out here doing. Like, you see like you cheating. I never ever asked him anything about what him and his penis was doing.
Girl, you killing me.
It wasn't
Okay.
my place because we just friends. So, but
It's your place. If I lay
I
down
just
in the bed,
assumed
it's
that
my
him
place.
that he was just
Now, how y'all? She keeps saying we just friends, but by this time, she said they had been intimate. So how are y'all just friends? This lady lies so much, child.
a married person, being married. I didn't because I
Well,
was
he
shocked.
wasn't
I
being
mean,
he
if it's on the phone calls, I was shocked. I was like, boy, I wasn't shocked like mad, but I was just shocked like, oh my, because I thought he was a faithful husband. Call me naive, but I
very.
was like, damn, you was busy in 22, 21, 22. He started laughing. I
That's
was
what you
like,
know
boy,
about. That's
huh?
only the stuff you know about. There's trust me, there's
It
got
could
to
be
be
something that
women you
ain't even
don't know about.
documented. Ain't no telling. That's what I'm saying. Ain't no telling.
Exactly.
There ain't no telling. How? I mean,
So okay, we talking about this encounter. You
all
said
right.
he
Don't
did.
just make that be right. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe might be
Okay,
some more.
okay, but let me say this. Let me say this. I know, and I'm only bringing this up.
Exactly. That's what I thought I heard. Cause this Trillery Bank said, but he already slept with you, so he couldn't be faithful. How the fuck you thought he was faithful? He had already. Girl, shut up.
Now because we're here talking about this little encounter. And I'm not trying to get in detail of your intimate business, but I would be curious to understand when you heard in the warrants about, was it in the warrants where it talks about toys and liquid Viagra and stuff like that? Did you see any of those things
It's in
show?
the warrant, but it doesn't talk about the use of it. It just said he possessed that at the time of the arrest. It was
Well, that's
in his
enough for
bag.
me to know he uses it. He wouldn't have it if he didn't use it. I mean, he
It
wouldn't, yeah.
it it was right. It was on him when he got arrested. They mentioned it, right? Which
So
he
did
had
you,
other things on him that they could have mentioned. I think they were just trying to be messy when they did that because it was no need to mention that because they weren't illegal items to have. And then we was in court and they asked, did you test the items to see if any of the victims' situation was on there? And she was like, no. So what was the whole point in bringing it up? You
well,
didn't
let me
test
ask
it. You
you.
didn't try to link it to anything.
Girl, you veering off. Come back, come back. I want to know, did you see any of these things or
I
detect the
never, I
uses
never
of these
ever,
things?
never, with the Viagra thing. No, no
Okay.
toys. Yeah,
Yeah.
but not the Viagra thing.
Okay. So
Um,
toys did happen.
and you know what, too? But then I've never dated nobody that old, or dealt with nobody that old. So, um,
Hi, love, love. Let me say this. Love is
I know people talk about how immature or mentally immature she is and how young and dumb she acts. Ooh, child. She called this man one more time. This heifer sat up here and talked about she messed with somebody 20, damn near 25 years younger than her. Girl, this chick is a weirdo.
saying what I said. Faithful husband messing with you how? So he can't be faithful and talking to you on the phone. And
listen, me and him was not having a
thank you, love,
when
love.
we decided to be friends, we weren't having messy conversations. And again, that was a one-time thing that I was like, we ain't doing that no more. So I don't know if that was a one-time thing that he just happened to, because some guys cheat one time. It's not, you got people that only cheat one
Sonya,
time. I didn't
Sonya,
know he was a serial cheater.
Sonya,
You know, he's a
Sonya.
serial cheater, but I didn't know at the time. Again, I didn't ask.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, so let's move on now. I'm gonna move
Wasn't my
past
business. Once I said we just gonna be cool and friends, wasn't my business. Cause my other friends, whatever they out here doing, I don't even ask. Cause their penises. Once I say we friends, their penises is not my business. I
but you
don't
know
even
what?
ask.
But
If
it
I
was
ain't
your
touching it,
business. Let me say this. It was your business before all that shit happened. It was your business. And next time, don't let that happen again. You better ask the right questions, okay?
oh, I do now. I be on it. I be like, are you single, single, single? Like,
Okay. All right.
cause
So
I done, man.
let me ask you this. Okay, so once he was arrested, you're saying by
That
the
was the first time that ever happened to me.
time.
Why
Okay.
people keep trying to ask, are people afraid to bring their men around you? I'm like, girl, please. No. That was the first time I ever did anything with somebody that was somebody's situation. Never date people that got girlfriends, fiancés, or
Okay, first of all, bitch, it's not a situation. That's a married man. I know you don't take it seriously, but and he don't either. But it's not a situation. You could call it what it is. It's called a marriage. Something you had, but you don't know nothing about.
wives. That just was a slip up.
That was one of my questions. I
That
was
was a
going to ask.
slip up. Hmm.
Okay. But that was going to be one of my questions, honestly.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So
No.
let's move on. So by the time or I'm sorry, by the time he is arrested, you've seen him 5 times. Y'all talked or text on the phone pretty regularly, and then he's arrested. So you find out he's arrested because you said you didn't get a call. How did he call you? I'm just curious.
He would call like a breakfast call in the morning, like start your day, like a start your day call.
But I mean, from jail. From jail.
When I found out he was in jail, I wrote him. because he didn't know my number. It was a month after he was in jail.
And
It was
you
like
wait,
around
wait, wait, wait.
August 29th. Hmm?
Hold on. When that happened, were you back in Florida?
I was in Florida still.
Okay, so you're in Florida at this time and he's in jail here. Got it. Okay, so you wrote him a letter when you found out where he was? Okay. How long does it take the mail to get to him? Like weeks or?
That might have took him like 3 days to call me after I mailed it, maybe 3 4 days.
That's pretty good.
But it was a paper thing. It wasn't. I didn't know about the digital stuff they got going on.
Okay.
I sent him an old school letter in the mail,
Mm-hmm.
and he called me, and I was like, "Why are you still in jail?" Because I could see how when he got arrested and everything. I'm like, "Why are you still in jail?"
Let me I don't mean to address the comments, but somebody said, how did he know your number and he was calling you? Now listen, let me tell you right now, I don't know my daughter or my son phone number at all. You drop me in the woods and take my phone, child, and I had to run to somebody's house for help. I ain't gonna be able to call nobody. My mother even got her number changed, and I don't know about her, so I just want to make that known. But and as much as she keep calling him, oh shit, he definitely ain't gonna remember.
Yeah, all your
At,
stuff is bondable.
well, wait. At that time when he was arrested, how many charges did he was he facing at that time? Two. And what were those two charges?
When he first got arrested, he had a warrant from Calvin, which was the theft by deception.
Is that the
The
one about the car? Is that dealing with the
no, no,
car?
no.
Okay.
Okay, so he had somehow with that car situation, that situation is squashed because that's not even one of his charges.
Hmm. Okay.
That situation is squashed. Um,
Okay.
I think V. Lenore should have had the paperwork ready so she could read off the charges because I know good and damn well it's more than two charges, and then she could have read them off one by one and let Miss Thing address them since she know every damn thing. I'm just saying.
he had the one thing with that one thing with Calvin, and then they went and pulled a search warrant on the 9th. They executed a search warrant, and they ended up arresting the co-defendant because of whatever she had in her house. But he didn't. The house he thought was his,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't turn up anything. It was her house that turned up some stuff that she was doing.
Okay, so wait a second. Let's go back. You said the two charges was theft by deception, and that was exactly what again? Explain what that meant.
That was the guy saying that he walked in his business and offered something about homes for vets and credit repair, and which again that warrant was
Okay.
it was stating like they were strangers when they knew each other because they used to work together. So
Okay. Okay.
it's very questionable the warrant, but that was the only one he had at the time. And then when they did the search warrant thing, then they arrested Erica, and that's when they brought up the conspiracy charges with them two together.
Okay. So the two charges was the theft by deception and then the conspiracy. Conspiracy of what though?
Conspiracy to all the stuff that she actually did. So when
Which was
she
what?
filed documents in the court, they said he conspired with her. When she showed up in court and pretended to be a lawyer, they said he conspired with her.
That's right. So
So
I was
every
watching
time she went
something.
in there and pretended, they said he conspired with her. So
I
that's what the
was
conspiracy charges are.
I was watching something recently that was talking about she was posing as his lawyer, correct? Now they knew each other for years though, right? Like decades, didn't they?
So people always try to say it like they was like this.
Well, they kind of had to be.
People always try to say they was like this. Girl, well, what was they like? If she coming in there pretending to be his lawyer, bitch, they got to be something. What the hell?
Okay, his wife didn't know her.
She don't know you. What the hell she talking about?
His wife don't know you either.
Y'all trying to say they've known each other for 10 years. I just met him. And I was out of town the whole time and sick. So no one was going to know me because I was sick the first year and then I was out of town the second year. I never was introduced or met anybody whenever I saw him. It was always just him by himself. So I was never around to meet anybody. She's from here, not from here, but she stayed here. She's been here forever, Erica. And then if they live next door, like people tried to say, and
Yeah,
she's on
that's
his
what I was
page
trying to
three
say.
times. He got her on his page three times, his IG page.
Yeah, so
But
that's what I'm saying. But he knew her for 20 years, and they are partnering on some stuff. And he trusts her enough to have her come in there, and she's pretending to be a lawyer. Now you're not gonna tell me he didn't know she wasn't a lawyer,
can't ask that question to him, and I don't know.
right?
Only thing that I said about that with him, because I don't know, he's never mentioned anybody to me before he went to jail, so I don't know what their relationship was. Um, I only assume that they weren't that close as people tend to want them to be. I think they were close on some
Hmm.
things, but I don't think they were close where so she know the kids, she's coming over here and then da 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 type stuff. I don't think they were up. I don't believe that.
Because they was doing dirt. Why would he introduce? Well, apparently they saying Shirley did know her. So where the hell she? This lady is
They were
crazy.
personally close.
Okay, so
Only because, like I said, he called me when he first got when he went to court for that charge, and they were reading off the charges, and they were talking, and they read off her name. He didn't know who it was. He thought they had the wrong person in there with him. So for them to for him to be that close, for
mhm.
them to say like everybody trying to assume they're that close, um, he would know her married name. It's her married name, and he didn't know it. She thought
Well,
he
hold
only
on, hold
had
on,
10.
hold on. Before we go there, I don't even want to get into what he says he knew or didn't know. Let's just talk about it like, okay, I'm pretending like I'm you in this moment, and I'm learning these things, right? I'm learning about these charges that this man that I don't really know has, right? He's got two. At this time, he only has these two. One is the credit repair thing, okay. The other one is, well, I'm sorry, what was the other one? The second one?
The
Oh,
conspiracy
was the
charges.
conspiracy of what she was doing, which was also
Hmm.
some sort of like scamming kind of situation, right? Per se, quote unquote.
Well, yeah, this is August September of 22, right?
Okay. So when you learn, so you're learning these two things, and I guess in your mind you're thinking, well, if he says he's innocent, we'll just see how this plays out. Is that what you were thinking at that time? And you were just going to support him as a friend and believe what he said about it? Okay,
Hmm.
I'll give you
Yeah.
that. Now, when these other charges came down, which are much more serious, right? We've got,
In January, the CP charge came.
Yeah, how? I mean, okay. For a period of time, she said he was just calling her, giving her good morning call. 5 minutes, he called, good morning, how are you? He's getting his cup of coffee, and okay, and talk to you later. And he would just call once a day, and then prior to that, well, she only saw him a total of what, 3, 4 times. She had sex with him one of those times, and then she lived out of town. She was in the hospital. So how well can you know this man that you really like going full body hardcore, like totally divested into this man's situation when you really don't know him. And this person, who said that? Oh, Let's Raise the Kids said defending someone she doesn't even know. My God, like she does not know this man, and she is going so hard. Then talking about how she didn't want to really spend a lot of time with him in person because she didn't want to catch feelings. Well, where the fuck these feelings come from? Cause I mean, She really haven't spent no time around him, but now she just all giggly giggly and so in love. Where the hell that come from?
CP, and yet you guys, for as you know, we're talking about child corn, on the cob, and the other one is SA, right? It's American.
That didn't come out till July of 23.
Okay. So now let's talk about the fact that now you're learning about these these charges that actually sound very heinous to hear about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now here's this man. So A, he didn't tell you he was married until after you slept with him.
Listen, if I put myself in her shoes, okay, say I'm this dumb ass biatch named Sonya, and she don't really know this cat like that. Um, Once I hear these charges, I don't care if they true or not, child. I'm out. First of all, I'm not. Listen, them days, jail days is over for me anyway. I did a couple of little half bids with, you know, I mean, here and there, not going full on all the way in or nothing like that. So, but and to do this for somebody that you really don't, and those are people that I knew. Like one I grew up in church with, the other one was my cousin, and then the other one, another one was my ex that I have been with for a few years, and then oh boy was I had been knowing him since I was a teenager. Anyway, I ain't talking about me. I'm just saying, like I get that, been there, done that. But after a certain age, bitch, please. And then these charges, and then you don't even know him like that. I wish I would have known somebody had, if any one of them would have had any charges close to that. I would have been like deuces, and I know them. I know them, and I probably would have been like, "I'm out. Listen, if you're not guilty, God bless you. But I ain't trying to get caught up in all of that. Child. I'm just saying.
So that's deception. He omitted truth there because by not telling you, he lying. As far as I'm concerned, when you omit the truth, you lying. And he omitted that on purpose so he could do exactly what he did with you.
Uh oh.
Okay.
He knew better. He didn't have to go because he knew he was married. Right.
But that's deception. So then you don't know this dude.
Exactly.
You really
Exactly.
don't
It's
know him.
not deception because I didn't ask and get the wrong answer.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So
You
I
don't
don't feel
have to
like
ask me if I'm married.
it was deception. I just feel like he knew better and he shouldn't have on that. I don't feel like
So that's not deception. That's not the same thing as deception. Girl, bye.
it was deception. I just feel like by him being a married person,
That's
he knew
deception.
better.
Yeah, no better because he was deceiving his wife and you in that moment. It'd be different if he told you and then you guys agreed to, okay, I don't give a shit, and then you go do what you do. But that's not what he did. He didn't even
Exactly. Exactly.
give you that option.
And that's what I got. That was part of the argument that I gave him.
Exactly.
But my
Let
argument
me
was
say
I
this real
don't do
quick.
that. And you
Let me
messed
say,
my record up because I went my whole life not ever doing that. And that was an issue. That was more of an issue with me than, because I was like, I ain't never did that before. And I pride myself on never being that person. And then I get 50, I was like 52,
yeah.
screwed my record. So that
Well,
that
listen,
I had a
let me
problem
say
with
this.
more
Hold
than
on,
anything.
hold on, hold on. AFV Media, thank you so much for your super chat. They want me to ask.
I'm really curious to know how this interview even came about. Cause she been little Miss Sonya here. She been shopping herself around quite a bit. She's done several interviews already. The last one, the one prior to this, as far as I know, was just the Fifi chick. Now, who child? I don't really have nothing bad to say about Fifi other than she might need some speech therapy and a better command of the English language. Um, so I couldn't even sit there and listen to that foolishness. Um, so that's all I'm saying about that. I'm just really curious how she ended up here because at this point she's acting like she's just so desperate to try to prove something to the internet. And it's like, bitch, we already got our minds made up. We don't believe you. And I don't say we anything often at all. I don't really like to speak too much for the majority in the sense of something that's not a statistic or provable. And the consensus is we don't believe you. The majority of the comments, I've seen many comments, watched many a video, read a lot of comments. We don't rock with you, Miss Sonya, and we don't believe you. Do you understand?
Ask you about
About the
Tracy
Hazel and Miss Jones thing,
Jones
I don't know
situation.
anything about that. That girl said it was 2016. I didn't meet him till 20.
Okay. Okay. And then her daughter, my other moderator said, it's civil. So, you know,
What's civil?
when you were talking
They trying to
about,
be funny. Listen, a couple attorneys agreed with me on that. So nah. Anyway,
well, are they his attorneys? The ones that
they
agreed
were
with
speaking. They were speaking to me on behalf of his cases and stuff. Yeah, they
you?
was
Okay,
not
but
not
are
the
they
ones he have
representing?
now. This is a couple attorneys that I talked to that I was going to hire for him that do criminal law here, and then I spoke.
Oh Lord. She didn't say she was gonna hire for him. And pay them how? With a coochie coupon, girl? Shut the How she gonna pay? She gonna give him some of that ponytail?
Spoke to, like I said, I spoke to a prosecutor and I spoke to a couple police officers. And like they said, they got to prove that the relationship had criminal intent. And how they try to spin it in court, she was trying to say, oh, he walk up to women and say, my wife is this in hopes of trying to woo them and con them. And I was like, why would you pick a woman that looks like she's not doing financially well? Because there's a lot of women here that's winning, driving nice cars, carrying the bags, looking like money. So why would he choose somebody that didn't look like that if it was a scam? You gonna go after the prize if you scamming people. You're not gonna go after somebody that look like they're not doing all that well financially.
So that's how you choose. You think that's how people choose their marks all the time, based upon just their appearance alone?
Common sense would tell a person, this is the thing, if you look at the lifestyle of a person, like when I met him, my bills were like $7,000 a month. If you got bills that are 10,000, 15,000 a month, and you trying to scam somebody, you not scamming nobody that's struggling.
That's not true. Now I'm gonna tell you why.
It's a waste of time if your
No,
mentality feels the need to scam somebody that's struggling,
let me
because it,
explain something to you. Most people who get scammed are not rich people. Rich people are not the folks getting scammed. It's the poor people that get scammed. And if you have a credit, I'm just saying, and you
girl,
said he
listen,
didn't have this business, but let's
if
say,
he if
let
it
me
took
give you an
him,
example. Hold on. Let me give you an example. If you've got a credit repair business, that already tells you somebody's not doing well because they got bad
okay,
credit.
so he said he didn't have one, so they didn't even have an official name, they didn't have it under the thing, he didn't show up with a card. And again, like I said, that whole situation with Calvin didn't even make sense because again, Calvin was a barber that worked in the barber shop with him. So why that whole, like I said, that whole warrant didn't even make sense. He didn't.
Let me tell you something. This heifer, she know good and well, well, God only knows what he told this lady. Give me a couple of $100, or you could tell that's about 10 people who, if you can convince them of something, they don't have to. They There's a lot of people that if they think if you are if you have enough charisma, he's a nice looking man. You got, um, your talk is, how do they say, like, you got good game, or however you say it. Your talk. He got, how do you say it? It's like your talk game is, whatever. To certain people, you can tell them certain things and they will buy it. And so a few $100s here and there, if they really buy into um your lie, you know what I'm saying? They'll think bigger picture. You know what I mean? So like she said, you don't have to be rich to go to scam somebody. I got scammed and I had no money. I sent somebody, Lord have mercy. I sent somebody $300. Child, I ain't never met him a day in my life. It was some bullshit. It was a long time ago. I'm just saying. It happens all the time. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Come in and meet him and say, hey, I got a credit report. Da, 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 da. He knew him as I work in the shop with him. He worked in his shop. So he was an employee. And then they said, oh, he picked him out of a lineup. Like it's worded as if there's two strangers who just met and he sold them this dream and he gave him some money. And I really didn't know him, when in fact he did know him very well. So
Does that, let's say he knew him for 20 years. If what he says is true, that he gave this person, he was sold a dream and he bought it, hook, line, and sinker, does that make a difference?
well, the thing of it is because of the facts of certain things, the big facts of that piece of paper, I doubt everything on it. Because they could have just told the truth. If it was an honest, if this is what happened and it's a flat out crime, then why didn't you word it truthfully? Why did you word it like this and try to make it seem like he just walked in and
Maybe
introduced
that's
to be
what they were
this?
under the impression of at the time. Maybe
Hmm?
that hasn't been disclosed to them yet. Maybe whoever wrote the warrant, it hadn't been disclosed to them the truth
He had
behind
to
that
write the
mission.
warrant the way the guy told him because
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
talking to a stranger. So why would the police could have only gotten what's on the warrant from the person who gave
That's
them the
my point.
information,
That's my
which
point. So
would be the victim. So if the
that's my
victim said
point.
this, right? So if the victim said this, that, and the other,
Mhm.
it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So
Well,
I throw it out. Whenever the paper don't make sense, I just throw it out. Like I can't believe anything on it because he introduced
wait a
himself
minute.
as
Hold on now,
Ernesto.
Sonya. Now that's very, very contradictory
Go ahead.
because this man deceived you, and this man is cheating on his wife. So if you can't, his wife can't trust him. What makes you think you can trust him? And now he's got these charges. These
Again,
charges
like I
are
said,
deliberate.
that's not
Don't you go?
contradictory because no, I'm not him aside because he hasn't even said anything past I didn't do it. That's all he said. He didn't say he didn't know these people. He just said I didn't do it. Right? He says he knows the people. He just said the stuff that they're saying he did on the paper. I didn't do it. Nothing past that. I'm innocent.
Wait, Sonya.
You can't really talk about anything else because he's not allowed to talk about his defense at
And
all.
that's my point. When you asked him this, or when you've had these conversations, he's been locked up. He's been on recorded.
Right.
He's been on
Right.
recorded calls, right?
Right.
So that means he's going to say he didn't do it, even if he did it.
Yep. Hello.
No, he could just say, I can't talk about my case. He didn't have to say all that. He could have just said, he told me I'm not going to jail for something I didn't do. I didn't do it.
He don't know you, and you don't know him, and he knows he can tell you that, and hoping you'll believe it.
You sound like the rest when they say you don't know him, but they believe the people they don't know. Don't nobody know nobody in this situation. So y'all don't know the people that's making the claim, just like y'all say I don't know the person that's being accused.
But here's the
So don't
difference.
nobody know nobody at this point. But I
But
know
here's the
him a
difference.
little bit better than everybody knows anybody.
There's a
So
difference. There's a difference. The difference is He's one person where all of these people are saying all this negative shit about him. All of these people are accusing him of doing something wrong to them. But it's just one of each of these people making these. I mean, they don't really know each other. There's no proof that they know each other.
The detective said in court
Like they conspiring against him or some shit. Girl, bye.
two ladies know each other.
Okay, and even if they do, it's still multiple people saying something about a dude that you don't know at all, who was not honest with you.
So I'm only, like I said, I'm only going off of what I see and what I hear in court and what I see on the warrants and how the warrants don't make sense. So, again, like I always tell people, let the evidence show what it is. If the evidence show he wrong and they right, then that's what it is. That's the only thing we can wait for is the evidence, because y'all can harp and say, well, you don't know him. Y'all don't know none of these people. None of these people. And like I said, the source of where everything is coming from is the biggest question of all. I can tell a story to somebody and leave out something and it can be a crime. But if I told you the whole story, it cannot be a crime. So we don't
And
know the whole
don't know
story.
the whole story either.
We don't know the whole story. We only know what the one girl said or the other girl said or the other girl said. So we don't know the whole story. We don't know,
But
like
we
I
do
said, they
know.
didn't
Well, that's the thing. She going so hard for somebody she don't know. Um, that right, you don't know the whole story. So there's more than one side of the story. And you only know, well, you know his side, you know what he tells you, and you know it's in the report. So how you can be so invested is just like beyond. It's just crazy. It's one thing for his wife to be like, no, I know him. I laid beside him for 8 years, even though she really ain't no shit. She can say that. But this heifer here, no.
Because
bring.
all of these women are saying it about this one man. And here's the other thing, Sonya, that I really want to get an understanding for. You and I talked a little bit yesterday, right?
Two
And
hours. No.
I know we talked for a long time.
2 hours.
And while we were talking, um, you mentioned that you're his only boots on the ground for the most part. You're the
Mhm.
only person kind of out here fighting for him. But Nesto has a wife. Nesto has. Does he have siblings?
6 kids, 2 sisters.
He's got, so there's eight. So he has seven siblings. Is that what you're saying? Or
6 kids, 2 sisters.
oh, two sisters and six kids. Oh, he has six kids. Okay, so he's got two sisters. He's got six children, and you're the person that's the boots on the ground, and you just met him. They know this nigga. They ain't here
Again,
for him, but
again,
you here for
everybody.
him.
So my thing with that was in the beginning when everybody was talking before everything got on YouTube. Um,
Thank you, a snack in the meal.
they said he didn't do it. So this is the family saying it. I know he didn't do that. I know he didn't do that. That's not him. My father would never do that. And this is more on the serious charges. Um, the stuff with the girls, again, like I said, I feel like it's civil because it was a dating situation. I don't know what he gave them. You know, they could say, because I know females, when they involved with somebody and it don't go the way they want it to go, they get to turning and saying only things that make them look good and the other person look bad, and they omit certain things. That's a pattern with females. They love to say, "Well, you did," and what did you do? Nothing. They omit certain things. So again, you talk about women who are feeling some type of way, and again, all these things happened in 21,
Hmm.
and then the other stuff at the other girl happened in 22. So if the girl felt in 21 the stuff that transpired between him and her,
Hmm.
she didn't go to the police. The police went to her in
Okay.
22. So apparently she didn't feel like it was a crime, whatever that transpired between them, because she didn't go to the police. She didn't call the police and say, this dude just ran off with this, that, and the other, and he said this, and this is what happened. The police, when after they got and did everything that they did, they went snooping and on through his phone. Ooh, reading stuff. Let me call this girl and see how that's going and what's going on with that. And then a
Okay.
charge comes up. The thing
Okay.
with the other girl, she reported her car. but she didn't report anything else. Because all that
Okay.
stuff with the Zelles and the credit cards happened before the car. She didn't
Okay.
report anything to South Fulton but the car.
Okay.
So like I
But the
said,
part, think about it this way. If I gave you cash for different things, that's one thing. But now you got my freaking vehicle and I got to get around.
not saying that's wrong, I'm just saying if you felt that everything
Somebody made a comment. A lady 747. Why would the police go after a civil case? Yeah, exactly. Because bitch, they'll tell you in a minute. It's civil. You got to go to the civil court to take care of it. They don't want to be bothered with shit that they don't have to. Trust and believe that. Be very clear about that. If they ain't gotta handle it, I mean, and that's for the most part anybody. If it's not in your jurisdiction or if it's a different department, you don't I mean, you may try to help out, but in this case, they not gonna do that. They not gonna handle no civil situation that you know that they can clearly let them know, no, this is civil. No.
that you did was an issue, when you went to report the car, how come you didn't report all those other things?
Okay. I'll give you
That's
that.
what I'm
But
saying. That's what I'm
explain that
saying.
car
So it's just
situation.
a
I
lot
know
of
you can't
questioning.
explain, Sonya. I know
Hmm?
you can't explain what his side is because you haven't really heard it.
I
But
can't. All right. I don't know it. I don't
but
know
what
it.
I hear you doing is dismantling anything that the victims are saying. You're dismantling that
I'm
with
just
that.
putting
Wait,
real
wait.
life and common sense with it. And the
Hold
thing
on,
of it
hold
is,
on, hold
when
on.
we went to
Let me get
court,
my statement out. Hold on, hold on. You are dismantling everything these victims have said, but you're not dismantling the fact that he said, I ain't do it. Yeah, I've been to prison. Yeah, and look, I don't judge people who have something in their background. You and I talked about it. I have something in my background. I
I
work
got a
with
lot of stuff in
people
my
all
background.
I work with people all the time that has something in the background. I believe in second chances, but but he but that past still lived there. And if he didn't have anything else in between, that's great. He didn't
He
have
doesn't
any
have any convictions in between.
doesn't
The
have
thing,
any
and
convictions, but doesn't mean he wasn't committing crimes. But nevertheless, I don't have to assume. We do know that the crimes that he is being accused of right now, they're pretty heinous, a couple of them. And so you
that's
don't
all right. And those are the ones I focus on. And just like I said with the R charge, he didn't even know her at the time. So that dismantles that warrant.
wait again. You are taking his word for that.
Uh, not his word. I actually got it from a family member first. He didn't say anything because he really wasn't thinking. And then I brought it to him and he was like, huh? I said, when did you meet her? Did you meet her before or after your son was shot? He said afterwards, because the son was the one who told me. That's who told me when they met. He didn't tell me.
But how
He told me. He
here's the
said he didn't meet because I remember when that girl, how he told me how they went and how it went about this, down the other. And he was telling him the story. And he said, I knew when it happened, it was after I got shot. And I was like, well, when did that happen? He said, July. I said, well, the warrant says January. And then I looked at the lease and everything. And I was like, well, when did they move? Well, they didn't move from California until December 19th, 2019 is the lease. They were still living in California. Now, he was back and forth here and there, but they didn't sign a lease and move back to Atlanta till December 2019. So all that stuff she was saying, she was acting like his stuff was there. His stuff wasn't back in town yet. His stuff didn't come in town till after that. So they got the dates wrong, really wrong. And the thing about that is, everybody knows COVID, right? Everybody knows what happened in 2020 because COVID. Oh, I remember that because yeah, because that happened right there in COVID. So to say, okay, well, maybe it didn't happen in 19, maybe it happened in 20. Everybody knows what happened in COVID, the year of COVID. Everybody knows. So it's just a lot of, if you say it's the truth, then it wouldn't be no issues with what the paperwork is saying and what other things are saying. It would be this, that, and it had to be that. So right now, they're getting two things, which is, you know, well, me and the investigator are getting two things, which will prove exactly what I'm saying. So
Okay, love. Thank you again for your super chat. It says poor people needing hope are the easiest targets. Yeah, those are the people that get. Think about in churches. Let's just take some of these churches where the pastors are taking all the money from the parishioners, and they're living the life, but the parishioners are struggling. That's
Mm-hmm.
typically what
we're
happens.
talking about 30 people that are, you got two women that are saying something, but the first woman didn't give him anything. It was transferred to a dealership. That's not him. And then the money orders and this is from court, and the money orders was transferred to three people and him not being neither one of them.
Okay.
Only thing that he ever got was the stuff from the girl that he was dating. That's the only person that gave him stuff. Well, however, they got proof that he gave him some stuff too in 2000 and I don't even know what year that was.
Um, so let me just say this. Now, since she's known him and since he got locked up, now she's aware of the fact that he's a married man and that he was dating other women. So that's not a character flaw to you, ma'am. That don't make you, question his morality, his character. I mean, I know you're an atheist, but you still gotta have some type of belief standard. You talking about you would have never mess with a married man. I mean, if you're an atheist, there's where you don't have any moral compass, really. I mean, where does the moral compass come from? I should say, because well, let me not get into that. But again, like I said, you see all this dating and carrying on with other women, but you still insist on dealing with this man. That's crazy. That goes to show you what kind of person she is.
Might have been 19 or something like that. I don't remember, but
She about to have me right Nesto. She gonna have me right Nesto and say, Nesto, you being kind by Sonya. Stop talking, Sonya. Stop talking to her.
Well, let me ask you this. So, and this brings up a good point that I'm looking at this question. It says, ask her how she feel about Dre. So, have you talked to Dre on the phone?
I only talked to Drake when he asked me to.
Okay. And you're in contact though, working for Ernesto. You have contact with Dre and with his son. Um,
I only talk to them if he tells me to. Other than that, I do not talk to them.
and then there's
There's
Lamont.
no need for me to talk to them.
Okay. Okay. Well, no, I'm just asking who you have
Yeah, there's no
contact
need for
with.
me to talk to them unless he asks me. Other
Okay.
than that, no.
But my question is, the people that you do have contact with are people like Dre, his son Dion, his brother, who is not really his brother, Lamont, right? His friend. Is there anybody? And you said his daughters, two of the
I
daughters,
spoke to two of his daughters,
two of the daughters. Okay, and none. Well, the
but
daughters.
only one since this happened. One I spoke to before this happened, but one since this happened.
How do they talk to you? Do they ever bring up his wife or anything like that? Do they?
We don't talk like that. It's always talking for the father. It's not talking like, hey girl, what you doing? This sign, such and such. That's not the conversation. I'm only talking on behalf to get whatever message he want me to say to his people.
Okay. So
I'm
how?
not trying to insert myself in his life like that. You get me?
No,
Oh, ma'am, what the hell she just said? Ah, what did she just say?
I can't
I'm
tell.
only
You're
dealing,
the
no,
only
I'm
one
only
talking
dealing
to
with
him.
him and his cases. I'm not trying to insert myself with friends and family and all of that type of stuff. So if he asks
Sonya.
me to call somebody, I will. If they call me and ask me how he's doing or tell him to call me, then I do that. Other than that, I'm just the go-between sometimes.
Hmm.
But other than that, that's it. I'm not trying to like, oh, let's have lunch and let's go here and that. I'm not trying to do all of that.
So, are you on good terms with everybody that we just spoke of? Are you on good terms with Dre?
I don't I haven't. Me and him have not exchanged bad words or all that type of stuff.
Okay. What about the son?
No, I don't talk to his son.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good
I gotta
question, Dr.
ask you,
Pat.
since we're bringing up the son, I
Can't
saw.
talk about the kids.